Podcast right here with Respect My Region. You know, it is the highest host, Adam Ill, chilling out, already smoking because that's what we do. And we got an amazing guest, a legendary guest, co-founder of, yes, you already know, co-founder of CannaCraft, multiple award winner. I think I've presented a couple awards on stage through his brands. I mean, the Farmer and the Felon, Absolute Extracts, Carried by Design. He got a beverage collab with Lagunitas, with the Hi-Fi. I've seen him at all these events. I think he's probably one of the most stylish, coolest dads I know, the dopest dads I know. I'm talking about Mr. Justin Capri, baby. How you doing, man?
Yeah, Adam, thank you for that. That was a great intro.
You know you're like one of the stylish dudes in this industry, dog. Like every time I see you, you just like got the hat and the chains and the shirt and the color palette just on, and I'm like, geez, dude, what's going on here?
Uh, I try, man. I try to keep up, coming
Keep
from
up with what? I
skateboarding
feel
and
like
all.
you are like reading about it, bro. I mean, you come from Northern California. You been in the weed fucking trifecta over there, the Emerald Triangle, been a part of it. I saw you had a passion with skateboarding. I seen you. Really, are you really stepping in the ring and fighting? You're an MMA fighter, dude. I was looking it up. Was that really you? It looked like you. I was like, yo, is this really Justin Capri?
Yeah, we had fun with that for a long time. Kind of in my older years, I was like, man, I need something else. My knees got pretty busted up from skateboarding and whatnot in my life, and I wasn't really doing it as much. So I was like, man, I need something. And I grew up wrestling, so I got into jiu-jitsu, and then it just kind of happened. And next thing you know, I owned a mixed martial arts academy. My boy who got me into it and owned the place, he was closing it down. It was such a good part of our community, and we had kids programs and all this shit. So I was like, man, fuck it, I'll take it. Let's go. And next thing you know, I'm in a cage like fighting people.
What?
I was like, what is this? But it's
And
like
you won,
I won. Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
bro.
I was a one and done thing for me. Yeah, yeah. All my crew was there wearing Team Capri shirts. We did it up. We had a bunch of people
Bro,
there, and it was a great experience for sure.
killing it, dude. I'm gonna go back though. I'm gonna go back because you mentioned skateboarding, and you're out here in Mendocino County, just doing the damn thing. You're a co-founder of a brand that just has a bunch of brands under you guys. Have you always been involved with the cannabis? When did cannabis enter your life? Did you always think you were gonna be owning all these cannabis companies?
Um, I mean, yeah, early on, being in Mendo, it was like, we started at 215, so kind of like, well, once it became somewhat okay, we dove in pretty deep. My family, my parents, my brothers and sisters, we all just kind of started getting into cultivating. We've always been into cannabis, and I knew that someday it was going to get to this point, legalization and all that. And being from Indo, we didn't talk about weed with people. I was tripping the first time I ever came to an event. And literally, I walked into a Chalice Cup, and people were just going ham. And you happen to be on the stage, and you're just getting crazy. And there's torches everywhere, and there's brands. I was like, "What the fuck is this, dude? I don't know if I could do this." I had like shock, like I can't believe people are just putting themselves on Front Street like this, and I smoked and settled in, and I was like, I actually could get down with this. By the end of the weekend, I was like fully in and like out of the closet, so to speak, and
Yeah.
just kind of becoming like, you know, going out there and being the face for us in the events type space. The founders, Ned Fussell and Dennis Hunter, they're my partners. They're running shit back home, so I've been kind of like the street soldier of the crew, and that's why you see me at all the events over all these years and
Look
going.
at you, scared to go to the first event, nervous about Chalice. Which year was it? Do you remember? 15, 16?
Yeah, probably 15 at least.
Being
And then
scared
so
to now I see you at all the weed events. Every time I'm like, oh look, there's fucking Justin.
yeah.
So were you, because I know like being a bud tender way back, when the doors of dispensaries were getting kicked in by DEA, it was getting ready. Times were different back then. And you were saying that you were like, not really out and open, and a lot of farmers were scared to, show face and tell people what they did because it's still federally illegal. So, you were involved. You being from Mendocino, where you grew up around cannabis. You've always been around cannabis. Was it normal?
Yeah, I mean, early on, like we had, friends in high school or in junior high, even whose dads, got serious numbers, going to prison. Like back then, it wasn't everybody doing it like that. 215 really opened it up for people that had a little bit of balls to like get in it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then it just, dude, people were moving to Ukiah and Redwood Valley. Well, it's all around us. We were just seeing all these new cats in town and just like, whoa, and they were just buying up properties. And I had the skate shop, so when they're in town to do their thing, all the duffel bag guys coming through, they're stopping by the skate shop. And so I was really getting to see all the people coming into town that were running game, and it was very interesting. I mean, there was a sense of our community was very like protective of it. And there were so many people who came up and were kind of like disrupting the land, not really having respect and being in our area. But over time, that kind of green rush that came up there, the cream kind of rose to the top. And there was a bunch of people that were like, you might call them transplants or whatever, who straight up built community up there and ended up raising their kids up there, became some of the best cultivators and respected the plant more than the locals did, and it was an interesting time. When we were in high school, obviously we were just getting weed when we could, but as time went on, it was, weed was plentiful, and it's just a full culture up there. Like everybody had weed in their backyard or on, big grows on their properties and shit.
It was just like a rose bush. Everyone just had it. Just, hey, there's some cannabis.
Oh, it got crazy. Every fence, there's plants peeking over every little small community, like downtown. They had to kind of put some parameters up there, and
So you,
it was a lot.
it got so you started. So you were consuming cannabis like in high schoolish time,
Yeah, I mean, junior high a little bit when I
junior
first started
high,
smoking weed.
and you were already skateboarding.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like when you were like, okay, here we are, little Justin Capri chilling, 13, skateboarding, fucking smoking weed. Like, were you like, I'm gonna be a professional skater. I'm gonna be I'm gonna have a couple farms and grow weed. I'm gonna be a lawyer. Like, what did little Justin want to be? Were you gonna follow the cannabis path because you're in the Mendocino County, or was it? Did you have other? Because you're killing it right now in the space, and I want to hear this whole transition from the 215 to the legal prop 64 days.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, no, I didn't have any aspirations, or they just wasn't even on the radar. Weed was just something cool, made me relax and think about shit. What weed does for kids when they first start smoking. Um, as 215 came on, that was when it was like the light kind of came on, and I put my parents on game. My dad was actually drilling for water for all the weed growers up there, like Spy Rock. He became like the dude that they knew they could call, and he could go find them water on their land, and he wasn't going to snitch on them. And so
What?
he has deep roots in the cannabis space, like kind of cannabis adjacent. But he was getting all those guys water, and so
Let me
they
find out your dad was the key to life up there for
straight
these
up.
growers. Without your father, a lot of these growers wouldn't even have farms because they wouldn't have the essential food that these plants need, dude. Look at you. You were born into this shit without even knowing it.
A little bit like that. I mean, it was once he saw all this, going on for so many years, and then 215 happened, and he was like, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go buy a piece of property and let's go do it. It'll be fun. And I was just blessed with so many heady people up there that were already doing genetics and shit back then. They were chucking pollen and coming over and picking the plants and putting bags over them. And I just got good genetics from the get, and good programs to make nice live soil. So growing out the gate for me, I was always doing small stuff at first, and it was I just thought it was easy. I was like, oh, this shit's easy. Fire just comes out. Later on, I learned how much work had been going into all of that, and really give a lot of respect to the guys up there who saw early on of how important it was to breed and maintain genetics and that type of stuff.
Yes. Quick shout out to all the growers out there too. Without you guys, none of us would be here. So if you got one plant or 100 plants, 1,000 plants, indoor, outdoor, mountainsides, basements, attics, whatever, dude, we appreciate you. Thank you guys. We appreciate the growers out here. And I know you mentioned that you a skate shop. You didn't just have like a little skate shop. Like this skate shop was like 20 years. It was open for like 20 years, dude.
Yeah, I opened that up when I was 21, and I bought this little vintage clothing store downtown just because I wanted her spot. Like I basically used all the money to buy like a women's dress shop, and I just hustled all those down at like San Francisco little vintage clothing stores and got my stack up a little bit and started buying skateboards and just slowly built it up. And my whole goal, just like with cannabis, was like be a part of the community, and in a small town like that, it works really well because everybody wanted to support. So I was able to like build it up and provide a life for my family. Which was dope. But being in Mendo, being a young kid, having a little bit of success with my retail, because my store was doing really well and I was providing, like the weed thing was, for me, I was growing backyard projects and basically just gifting weed to all the people in the skateboard industry. So all the sales reps and everything, I was their guy,
Right.
Justin the weed dude from Mendo. So it really opened the door to get a lot of brands in there that normally wouldn't fuck with me because I was such a small shop and way up there. And created a bunch of great relationships over those years, and I'm still friends with those people. And in fact, when we were started hiring sales reps and doing all that, I just pulled all the guys from the skateboard industry because they already came from it's so parallel. They'd already come from that, small skateboarders fringe like thing, and the next thing you know, Tony Hawk does the fucking 900 on ESPN and X Games, and it's become like some household shit. And then all these companies started coming and investing in all these little small skateboard brands, and so then they had to kind of go into the whole like kind of corporate world, and so they've already seen all that. It's all very culture based, and so it was great to like just plug that right in, and it's instant fam.
It is a very similar culture too, and they go hand in hand with each other. Because I know skateboarding. When I was a little punk ass kid and I was skateboarding, like it was like frowned upon, and it was like not something that was taken seriously. And then it became like a big business, and then you could get skateboards at Walmart and shit. And it's the same thing is going on with cannabis right now, dude. It's like it was so small and taboo and frowned upon, and now we got huge investors, and it's legal in most states. That's medical in most states and legal in gonna be in more states federally. So it's crazy to see how it's happening, and how has everything been with you with the whole transition from the 215 to the 64, having all these brands? What are some of these obstacles that you've been facing? Are you happy with the 64? I mean, I miss the 215 days, that legacy, that whole traditional ways. It was amazing going to the festivals, being able to have just pounds out and sampling and being able to purchase directly from the farmer. And no question, it was fresh weed and you could try all the new exciting flavors. And I was loving it. Now, like when I get weed, it's like been sitting at the testing facility, then back at the distro and the packaging and then on the shelf. And then by the time I get to it, it's like, where's my fresh weed at, please?
Yeah, there's those problems that everybody, all these brands are facing. Obviously tax issues and all that. What I'll say about legalization and the testing is what I really like, because we got a lab before we even had a fucking marketing team. Dennis and Ned like bought some lab equipment from a college that like went out of business or whatever, and next thing you know, we got all this heavy crazy equipment there. We brought in some smart people and we started testing the oil and testing other brands shit right away. We learned a lot about systemic, and everything that, you know, that we were doing even in the early days, you know, spraying plants early so that you don't get bugs and shit like that, and not really understanding what that was. Um, and so we want to really try to help people make sure that they're getting actual true medicine. You know, Care by Design is a really dope brand that was, you know, kind of cutting edge at the time of doing ratios and all these different delivery methods. And we had compassion programs going on. So it was really about like getting the medicine to the people. And we knew that what was going on the shelves at dispensaries, a lot of people are getting this weed and they're getting, you know, all the pesticides and, you know, funguses and bacteria. And we were going to like Whole Foods and just getting random shit and testing in there. Just like, like, how dirty is stuff really, you know? And so that was fun and interesting. And we were kind of like, you know, up in that mix early on.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. I think knowing you have clean cannabis, clean products is a super plus, and that's great because, you know, they try to pin some sicknesses on cannabis, and there's a lot of shady people out there that will sell you, that'll give you weed with mold or PM or bugs because, you know, the average consumer doesn't know what that looks like. So having that is a plus. So, you know, that's it. But we still get, the weed's not as fresh as it can be to the end consumer with the 64. Oh, hey, dude.
Yeah.
Can we talk about some of these brands though? Because you got a couple brands, dude. I want to just know a little bit about them. Let the people know what's going on with them. You touched base on Care by Design a little bit, but you know, I know I've seen you around with Farmer and the Felon at a lot of these events. What, are you a felon or the farmer?
We're all, if you're a farmer, you're doing felonious behavior in the government's eyes, you know, in the federal government's eyes. So it's kind of, you know, it's
Right.
one and the same. But Dennis, you know, Ned runs the cultivation side of our business, and Dennis did 6.5 years in prison for cannabis, and he was on the run for 4.5 years before that. You know, this is all well documented, and he kind of, while he was in there, you know, it became legal. So he said, when I get out, we're just going to show everybody what we're doing, you know, and like, let's just have the conversation. And so we really had this model of like, bring them in, you know, from the state level, from the local level, police, and like really sit at the table and say, hey, you guys, this is happening no matter what. How do we make it work for everybody? So, I mean, Dennis was selling, you know, shovels to the miners at first, and kind of, he couldn't touch cannabis for a while there, and then Ned was a big grower, and Dennis was selling all the soil and the nettings and all the shit. So, you know, of course, Ned, being Ned, goes straight to the source. Like, I'm buying a lot of shit, and next thing you know, they were like, well, we should just connect, make this company, and they started buying CO2 machines because that's all that was, you know, you could do at that time. Getting into the cart game and just running it, you know, and it started out with AbsoluteXtracts and Care by Design. So we had an extracts line and a CBD dominant line. We were kind of let the small farmers do the flower thing. You know, we were growing big, but we were selling in bulk and kind of doing that. And then, you know, this many years later, we were like, just ready, like, man, we just need to do some high level shit. You know, we can. And this is a good chance to tell the story of those two squirrely fellows and their time in cannabis. So Farmer and the Felon just kind of came naturally, and the branding's cool. The orange pop, like the LPP side of it, you know, Dennis sits on the board there, and since he did prison time, it's a very, you know, important one for us and for him. And we want the brand to be fun too, you know. It's not always about prison reform. This is weed, you know. We have fun with it, and we also want to make sure there's that, you know, social responsibility there.
Yes, just let it know because there's a lot of new companies, a lot of culture vultures pulling up, not knowing the history of cannabis, not knowing what, you know, some of us went through being either growers, distributors, street pharmacists, just trying to help people with cannabis because some of us knew the benefits of cannabis before, you know, mass public started learning, and people are starting to get educated now. So basing a brand on, history and letting people know what the hell we've been through is amazing, and people need to hear that. So Farmer and the Felon, that's awesome. And then you touch base on ABX, Absolute Extracts. Is that more just concentrates?
Yeah, that was like, you concentrate. So mostly like we were doing the pin game early on, and we were just like, wow, people are eating these things up. And so we kind of just stayed in that lane, for a long time. We bought a gel cap machine because we was like, oh, everybody's like popping pills, and, the medical world, pharmaceutical world, we're like, let's just make different form factors and different delivery methods that people were used to. So we were doing the droppers and the gel caps and all that. So we were kind of including that in the line as well. We did the 200 milligram gel caps, and, kind of for like those high dose stuff, all the way down to 10 milligrams and that type. And the new branding's coming out soon. The carts are on point. So you're going to see ABX come out with a new fresh feel, look, everything is dope. The sauce, we got the Collier crew in the house these days, so that's really like stepped our game up a lot.
Hell yeah.
Having those guys.
I remember seeing that at the Green Street building, the old one, dude. You guys had your whole thing, and it looked like it was like clean, like it looked like you could see it at like the Whole Foods like vitamin section, like the way it looked, the way it packaged. I'm like, oh, I could see this in like a health store, like a holistic store. Like, boom, it was just like clean, neat. It didn't look like weed. It was just like the ABX. I was like, all right, I see him. I see this dude. And then you also had the Care by Design, which is like the CBD. I know we spoke about that a little earlier.
Yeah, we did the ratios. Martin Lee, he's like an authority on the subject, and really has been, early on was traveling around the world and talking about the endocannabinoid system when nobody really knew what that was. And, he's just, him and Dr. Russo and some of those guys, they've been doing great things for a long time. They do Project CBD and whatnot. So it's like where I send people to get like trusted info, because it's tough online. People don't know, they're trying to look into stuff. So Ned and Dennis brought Martin in early. They're like, we need somebody pro. If we're going to do this brand, we need to do it right. So he started bringing in ratios and really letting people kind of like use cannabis the way it works for them. Not everybody wants to be super high. So we went from like 18-1 up to 1-1, and had all these different delivery methods. And it really kind of gets people like introduced to cannabis. They see the benefits, and then next thing you know, they're smoking blunts.
You out here you care about the end consumer, dude. You're just trying to make it as easy for the end consumer. You just care. You're a people person. Like with the skate shop, you bought a MMA studio, dude, for the people. Let's make weed for the people. Let's make extracts for the people. Let's make CBD. Oh, what are we missing? Beverages. Let's go. About the hi-fi, dude. I see some around here, the RMR studio. They sipping on them.
Yeah, the Lagunitas crew, they're in Petaluma, right up from our headquarters in Santa Rosa, and they're just like stony beer dudes. And
hell yeah,
it's just a great synergy. And they got popped for smoking weed in their building, and they made a whole cartoon about it. So we were always vibing with them and trading them product and just kind of having fun with them,
Hell yeah.
And the head brewmaster there, Jeremy Marshall, he was like, man, I got this idea. I want let's extract some hops terpenes, and put those in sparkling water, and then we can infuse it. And we were like, oh, that sounds like a dope idea. Next thing you know, we're working on that project. But in the meantime, we put a bunch of weed, cannabis terpenes in kegs, like 100 kegs. So it's just terpenes, no THC. So it was just a flavor thing, and it was really just to get the conversation going about terpenes, and of course, you can't mix alcohol and that. So whoever comes in and says, we can't do this, and so that's when the discussion went to the state level of like, terpenes being in beer. It's not putting cannabis in the beer, but they cut that one out. But we just had fun with that one. We did a terpenes hops terpenes vape cart. So it kind of had like this beer notes on it.
That's weird. How was that?
Yeah, it's weird. It didn't work out that great, but we were like, fuck it, let's just do it. And
Try
some
it.
people loved it. The beer community loved it, but we scratched that one. We
Yeah,
just been
I tried doing
having
that
fun.
with blunts. I tried to make a blunt cart. It just never came out right. Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't the best move, but you know.
man.
Yeah,
But that's
I love
go ahead.
people, man. Just to go back to that, thank you for that, because I truly do love this community and just people in general. And I want to see more people like get the benefits from cannabis, whether you've been in it your whole life or whether you're new to it. I think there's a bunch of people, you know, it helps the world in general. So I'm always just trying to bring the vibe
I
that.
love it, dude. And you always bring the vibes. Every festival now, every event. If you have an activation, if you have a booth, it's just like a vibe, dude. If it's the hi-fi, it was like a nice party vibe with a little beer truck, chilling, get your drinks. If it was Farmer and the Felon, y'all just got like lawn chairs and you're chilling in front of the big orange pop. If it's, you know, you guys just have the whole vibe going, dude. Your kids probably love you, dog. They're like, damn, we have the coolest dad.
I get along with my kids really well, that's for sure, and they're great. And they grew up in the cannabis culture, you know. They've been out big leafing when they were kids, you know. Their grandparents, all their aunts and uncles, and so it's not taboo for them, you know. And I just, that for me personally, that's what worked well for my wife and I and our community up there, is just, you know, teach them about it, you know.
It's regular. Yeah. Regular gardening. It's legal.
Now I got grown ass kids. They're coming to the festivals with me and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Like, Dad, can I come with you?
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much to talk about, dude. I know we got a little bit of time, but I want to just see what's coming up with CannaCraft. Anything new, anything exciting? What's coming up with all the brands? What we got? I know you spoke about new packaging.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been working hard with my team on this ABX rebrand and reformulation, and really just kind of really wanting our products to match the vibe, you know. Like, sometimes that's hard to do. We're out doing our thing, and then online and on the packaging, and you know, you got teams and you let people do their thing, and I think our teams just run really solid right now. We have new all the new flowers just hitting right now, the depths, ungrown depths, you know, and the Farm and the Felon line, all the stuff that's coming out this year, I'm super excited about. We have an enhanced line that's going to come out where we have, you know, some hemp, like, I mean, not hemp, some CBD, THC, like ratioed super fire flower, which not a lot of people have. And we did a pure guava last year, and it was only like 5% THC, and it was so tasty, and it flew. So a lot of these dispensaries, you know, they're looking for other stuff, you know, and so we've been doing a lot of work with other genetics guys over the years, all the homies, and this year Ned cracked them, and the stuff that's coming off is really nice.
Yeah. What's like a typical day for you, dude? You have so much going on, all these brands. You got the family, you got the MMA, you still skateboard, or you still pick up a board and go hit the streets? Like, what is a typical Justin Capri day, dude?
I mean, I'm pretty busy, dude, with CannaCraft right now. I you know, let my shop go a few years back, you know, and then I sold my academy. It's a really cool cat that still has that running there, just to kind of like focus. But yeah, I for sure get out there and skate when it's time. I just don't do it daily because my old bones hurt. The training, you know, I try to get it in when I can. It's just funny because I travel everywhere, so when I do skate, it's usually with like my pro friends that just crush, you know. Or when I train jujitsu, I'm with like Gilbert Melendez and all these like super killers from the UFC that are like homies, you know.
Yeah,
but I gotta get in still, dude. I can't, you know, I can't front. I gotta still get in there and do it. So I probably always will, but you know, letting the body heal up a little bit.
Man, you're fucking inspiration, dude. Just out here for the people, making it happen, just getting around, bored into the cannabis. space without knowing it, and just
Yeah.
fucking have these award-winning companies and all these brands, dude. Just it's awesome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy ass day, I'm sure, to hang out with us here on Respect My Region, dude, and the Legacy Cannabis Podcast.
Yeah, you guys are the shit. Thank you so much, dude, and for all that you do. You kept it going for a long time. You were out of the closet before most and ready to scream from the highest mountain. So I really appreciate you for that. And Colin,
thank you.
You guys are the culture. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Again, Legacy Cannabis Podcast right here. We Respect My Region. This is part of the North American Weed Tour, dude. We're doing this all year. Make sure you check out more. Justin, again, I appreciate you for hanging out with us. I can't wait to see you at the next event, dude. Whatever it's going to be. Appreciate you. All right, everyone. You know who it is. The highest host, Adam Hill. It's been great. I'll see you next time. Yeah? Okay, guys. Bye. Thank you again, Justin. And, wait, where can people find you? What are we going? I know we got the things under here, the at Farmer and the Felon, at Absolute. Do you have any social medias, websites that you want to plug?
I mean, I don't really play on social media too much, but I try to have fun with it. I got _in and then _Mendo. That's kind of my weed fun one that I play with sometimes.
Justin Mendo. Sounds like a wrestling name.
Yeah. You can find me. I'm out here.
I appreciate you, dude. Thank you. That should be your new MMA name, Justin Mendo, dude.
Justin Mendo.
All right. Thank you.
You're out there.